So today I'm going to talk about Obama's leadership style throughout his presidency and actually previous to his presidency. First, I'm going to start with his section previous to the presidency while he was campaigning. So during his campaign, his slogan was "Yes, we can," and "Change we can believe in." These are both examples of highly ideological motifs to say. And the idea of saying these styles of slogans is to reach out and touch each individual at his rallies' own ideologies and beliefs and create a connection. So by doing this, he's hoping that he can demonstrate he has the same ideologies as his constituents, and he has to do so charismatically as well by speaking successfully, better than I am doing right now, and making him seem like he is the person to bring about the change that they want to see in American society. So he's during when his campaign up to the actual presidential win, he is mixing both a charismatic leadership style as well as a ideological style of leadership, uh, combining them to have a successful campaign run and build a base that will vote for him. I think this is required for most politicians. A politician needs to express that they have the ideologies of their constituents, making certain that their constituents will agree with what they will want to do, but also they need to make certain that their constituents will like them and like them enough to vote for them. So I believe what he has done is actually the proper way for a politician to run a campaign election with these styles of leadership. And it's actually very transactional as well. So there's no change a politician can do during the actual campaign run. It is actually a promise of a transformative leadership expression, and it's a promise saying, if you vote for me, I will do this, and that in essence is very transactional. So it's once he was actually elected, he did change to a transformational style for domestic policy creation. So he did try and make good on those promises. Of course, nobody can make good on all promises. No politicians have been able to do everything they've ever promised for. But he was able to bring about change that he thought was betterment for the common citizen of the U.S., such as the Affordable Care Act and the Hate Crime Act. So the Affordable Care Act was a way to extend health care to those who cannot afford health care through the typical means. And the Hate Crime Act was to extend the definition of a hate crime from being ethnic focused to also extending towards crime based on the victim's sexual orientation. So these are not something that would be necessarily transactional for him, other than to gain himself support, but is really him making good on the promises that he gave to his constituents during the campaign run. So, and he brought about this change. So that's very transformational. During his foreign policy creation, though, was fairly transactional. And I think this is probably the proper way to handle foreign policy creation. So, for instance, the Iran nuclear deal that he leveraged between Iran and other members, as well as the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, focused on that members of this agreement benefit for for a reason, and this is what they receive for doing so. So, in essence, countries get A for doing B because other countries in the agreement would like to give B so that that country gets A. It takes a transact. No, two countries are not typically under a form of union other than perhaps an alliance. And in fact, a lot of the countries in the transatlantic trade and investment partnership, as well as the Iranian nuclear deal, are not actually allied together and can at times be economic foes. But there's an understanding that by partnering, they can perhaps better something for themselves. And it is not to really make the world a better place, but to help themselves. And that is why they do such a thing. So, a transformative approach would not necessarily work in this manner. It's not focused on the ideologies, but instead focused on what country B wants from country A and what will country A be comfortable giving country B to do so. So, all in all, I think this kind of shows that transformational and transactional situations, leadership situations that Obama approached, as well as when he expressed an ideological style of leadership and charismatic as well.